Can we just kind of start off with, I guess, like what we're doing here today?
Sure, we're here today to discuss the officer-involved shooting regarding Mr. Arrington. This occurred on December 13th here in Jacksonville, and Mr. Arrington is going to describe exactly what happened. He has not spoken to media before today, and I think that it is important for the citizens of this community to understand specifically what it is that happened on the side of that road, because Mr. Arrington is just like any of us, was driving his car, lawfully carrying his firearm, and voluntarily disclosed that to officers prior to him being shot by his own gun as a result of the officer's negligence. But Mr. Arrington will explain further.
Well, February 13th.
Come closer.
Have you directly behind the microphone?
Yep.
Okay, get
There you
your
go. You don't
audio
have to lean down.
perfect.
You don't have to lean down.
February 13th, it was around about 4:50 in the evening. I had just gotten off of work. I was heading, I believe, towards downtown 27th and Main, where I kind of went through a traffic light that was actually yellow, but it turned red pretty quick. Officer pulled me over. He asked me, do you know why he stopped me? I told him that light back there. I said, but you saw what happened. But he said, I didn't attempt to try to stop. But I told him if I tried to stop, I would have either slid through traffic light or he would have rear-ended me because he was behind me. He proceeded to ask me, do I have any, do I have my driver license, insurance on me? I said, yeah. He asked me, do I have any guns or weapons? I told him I have a firearm. He asked me, where is it? I said, it's on me personally. He said, okay. He said, well, what I'm gonna do is have you step out, have my partners, remove the gun, and we'll proceed forward. I said, okay, no problem. Stepped out. One officer, guy told me to put my hand on top of the truck, which I did. He started frisking me, and as he went down, I guess he had the lady to remove, the other fellow officer to remove the gun from me. She tugged on the gun the first time, then she tugged again. And that's when I told her, hey, just let me unloosen my belt because it's tight. And I guess, I don't know if she might have got nervous or whatever, but she pulled harder 2 more times, and that's when the gun, it discharged, and it shot me in my upper thigh, hip, and came out my inner on my right side. So it pretty much, it damaged me pretty good, it's kind of, it messed with me, as far as me working and stuff, certain things in my job I can't do no more, perform, like getting up on equipment and stuff, different things. I have to get on top of trains and unload stuff, forklift, crane, whatever, I have to do at my job. It's kind of hard for me to do it. I can do it, but it's challenging, like real bad.
Was that officer who was the one who actually pulled the gun, was she in the car with the original officer, or did she come as like backup?
I think she came as backup because the guy that initially stopped me, he was by himself. And then when I looked out my driver's side, it was 2 more officers there, which I didn't see come up. It was kind of, everything went fast.
Just to clarify, an officer first asked you if you had a firearm, and
Correct.
that's when you disclosed it.
Correct, yeah, he asked me, and I told him, yes, I do. And he asked me, what was it? I said it was on me.
So are you guys pursuing legal action against the sheriff's office at this point? Can we expect a lawsuit or anything?
Yes, we are pursuing legal action. Mr. Arrington's civil rights were violated on December 13th, and we will pursue a civil rights lawsuit as a result of that. He suffered physical harm. We believe that he may have lost wages going forward and a lost capacity to work and earn. He is a crane operator and has a physical job. He describes some of the duties that he has at work, and there are specific elements of damages, including economic damages, medical bills, that sort of thing, in addition to emotional distress damages, and Mr. Arrington has started seeing a mental health professional as a result of that.
I wanted to ask, since this incident has happened, JSO has updated its policy surrounding concealed carry laws and what they do in instances like this. Do you think, I don't know if you guys have looked at the updated policy, but do you think with that, with this new policy, it could be, something like this could be prevented, or do you think there needs to be more done?
Well, we certainly hope that, and are grateful, right, that JSO finds it important enough to update policies and continue to evolve and be a more progressive agency. However, this particular officer who caused injury to Mr. Arrington, we don't believe was properly trained, certainly did not follow protocol. Mr. Arrington, we believe the body cam video will bear this out. Unfortunately, neither Mr. Arrington nor I have been able to obtain the body cam despite our requests. I believe the media has also requested it, and we're all getting the same 6 to 8 month reply, which is unacceptable. Mr. Arrington had violated a traffic law, certainly was not a wanted criminal, and there is no reason for the body cam not to be released both to the victim of this situation and his counsel and to the general public. So we are asking JSO, the city of Jacksonville, to release the body cam footage because we believe that it would in fact support what Mr. Arrington has described to you today. It would show the citizenry that the officer's actions were in fact unreasonable, and it's appropriate here. We want our law enforcement agencies to be transparent, and that has to be something that occurs here as well.
Just with the lawsuit, one more question.
Sure.
Have you filed it already, or do you know when that will actually be filed, just for storytelling purposes?
Sure, no, we haven't. I mean, to answer your question, no, we haven't filed a lawsuit yet, but you guys will be made aware.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Mr. Arrington, I just wanted to ask, what went through your head the moment that it discharged? I mean, obviously you felt it, but what was can you talk me through that moment?
I mean, when my hand was on top of the truck, so when the gun went off, I kept my hand on top of the truck because I didn't want no one else thinking that it was me. And for the moment when it hit, it was like, it was a movement of my body, but I actually didn't thought it was me that the bullet hit. I thought it was the officer behind me because he was down checking me. And then when I realized I looked down, he stood up and said, "Hey man, you've been shot." And I'm just like, I'm looking down like, "Oh, I have been shot." And it was just like, that's when it hit me like, man, I've been shot. So that's when he put my hand around his neck and kind of put me to the ground, you know, and went. And that's when he ran back to get the tourniquet to wrap my leg up because I was losing a lot of blood quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that panic sensation set in.
Yeah. I mean, I was okay, I thought, but my body was hemorrhaging bad. So that's when they kind of like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? They thought they hit a main artery, but I did too because it was getting pretty gray outside. So yeah.
Wow. And
Yeah.
can we just talk about your recovery? I know you mentioned it's impacted your ability to work, but have you been going to like physical therapy?
Yeah, that's what they set me up with, physical therapy at Brooks Hospital. I've been all right, you know what I'm saying? Just every now and then I get muscle spasms really bad and I'll limp like this leg will like fall dead for a quick second, but I kind of gain it back. But
Probably not something you thought you'd have to be dealing with during your Christmas. Right?
Yeah, it's rough because if I sit down for a second or two, my leg tighten up real bad. But so I try to stay moving on it, but it get pretty throughout the day. It hurts.
How did your loved ones react to the news when you told them? I mean,
I tried to tell them calmly as I did, and it's like they were shocked. Like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah." And everybody else was kind of shocked, about it. I guess they didn't think that it was me when they saw the cameras rolling. They didn't think that was me on the ground. It was like, "Man, I saw your truck. We know your truck, but that was actually you on the ground." I'm like, "Yeah, that was me." But
What was the reaction, if you remember, of the other officers after this happened, namely the one that
did it.
seemingly, yes.
She seemed. They say she was in shock, but it was. As I was looking at her, because I kept looking, it was just a nonchalant look, like I didn't do nothing wrong. I'm just like, "Oh, okay." It was just, they say she was nervous and shocked, but it was just, I don't know, I saw it differently, but, it was me being shocked, looking at you like, because when she shot me, the other officer and sergeant, whoever was there, they apologized 100 times. She never said one word to me, not one thing. She stared at me though, but didn't say anything. So I was just like, okay. I just left it at that. I didn't say anything else. I was worried about me, but yeah.
What kind of gun was it?
That I had was a Gen 5 Glock 45.
And for the purposes of educating the audience, could you walk through what parts of this stop you're citing as the civil rights violation, if that makes sense?
So Mr. Arrington is not disputing the validity of the stop, the traffic violation. We believe that his civil rights were violated thereafter. But people in Florida can carry firearms lawfully now without a permit. But there was no gun owners in this state should be able to carry their firearms, should be able to have them on their person, in their vehicles, without the fear of an officer pulling them over on the side of the road, them voluntarily disclosing that they're carrying a firearm, and then being shot with their own weapon. So, Mr. Arrington's civil rights were violated. We will pursue that action. I also want Mr. Arrington to talk about his holster and how it was situated and the motions of the officer tugging at it also describe the pants that you were wearing, and you mentioned, loosening your belt, so I just want you to go through a little bit of that.
So at the moment of when she got to remove the firearm on me, I had like some joggers on, which have like a string pull in the front, and I have it fairly tight because I have my gun in my holster, and I don't want anything to come off, even though there's a clip on, but things happen. So I had it really, I had it tight. So when she went for the gun, when she first pulled, she literally pulled so hard, she pulled my whole shorts up, my pants up, and she did it a second time, and that's when I said it loud enough for her to hear me, say, hey, let me unloosen my, my belt so nothing, so you can get it out. And she just tugged even harder, like 2 more times, and that's when the gun went off. And it was just like,
The holster the firearm has been returned to Mr. Arrington by JSO. The holster has not been returned.
Was the safety on?
their safety is on the trigger.
And just to be clear, there's no issue with the medical response that JSO made after the shooting? That's not something that you're pursuing in the lawsuit?
We will obviously examine the body cam footage once it is made available, but based on the officer providing a tourniquet and calling for assistance, we believe that the medical response was appropriate. The issue is this female officer who, for whatever reason, chose to continue to tug at Mr. Arrington's waistband and caused his firearm to go off. We don't believe that the gun malfunctioned, and anyone who's ever operated a firearm, and certainly a trained officer, is aware that if you put your finger inside the trigger guard, there is an extremely significant risk of the gun going off. So that her finger was anywhere near the trigger at that moment is very troubling and should be of concern to the general public. We also don't know this officer's status or the status of this investigation period. We don't know if she's on the job, if she's on patrol. She's not been identified to us. So we just have concerns. I've sent an email. I've asked for information. I've asked for an opportunity for Mr. Arrington and I to come down to JSO to view the body cam footage if they were not prepared to release it to me directly. And I got no response to that email. So what I got is a call from a risk manager, a risk management specialist with the city of Jacksonville. So we have concerns about the transparency around this incident, and we appreciate Sheriff Waters in his transparency in other incidents, but here there seems to be some inconsistency, and we'd like that addressed.
And we talked about this a little before we started, but I know that you have the court date set up for the citation, right? Are you still intending at this point to go to that? But I know that we don't know if the citation's been dropped. Can you just kind of speak to that a little?
Well, according to the Clerk of Court's website, Mr. Arrington's traffic citation has been dismissed by agency, in quotes, as of December 20th. So he was pulled over on December 13th. 1 week later, this citation seems to have been fully dismissed. I've requested that specific document. It's shielded from even attorney view, so I've requested that, and we hope to get that document so that we can learn a little bit more about what, if any, explanation was provided for the dismissal of the traffic citation. Mr. Arrington was prepared to deal with that citation appropriately. He doesn't challenge that he did, in fact, run the red light, but we appreciate the dismissal considering the circumstances, but we would like the rationale for that.
And Mr. Arrington, I just want your thoughts on the fact that the sheriff did send out this memo to all of his patrol officers, letting them know the step-by-step guidelines for handling somebody who has a gun on them, and it's basically saying that it's the officer's duty to be able to prove that they don't have the right to have that gun rather than the other way around. So they shouldn't be removing that gun unless there is a concern for public safety. So just want to know your thoughts on, I mean, that's an agency-wide distribution that he sent out. What happened to you prompting that?
You say repeat that again. You said what ending part? Say.
Yeah, so he sent out a memo to all of the patrol officers, letting them know kind of how to handle if somebody does have a gun on them during a traffic stop, and explaining that it's not the person's responsibility to prove that they have the right to have that gun. It's the officer's right to prove that they don't have the right to have that gun. So they shouldn't be removing it unless there's a concern for public safety in that moment, which in your case there wasn't, right?
Yeah, because I cooperated. I didn't pose no threat or anything, and that's what I've been stopped before, and they've asked me that, and the only thing they asked me to do is just keep my hand on the steering wheel, and that's it. You know, I've never had no one actually like take it from me. I have had it asked, but not nothing recently. I mean, a little bit before the law changed, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, I read the memo and stuff, you know. I mean, I just think that I don't think that I should have been, my gun should have been removed, because like I said, I didn't pose any threat. I did everything he asked me to do, everything.
What was the racial makeup of the officers that were around you at that particular point in time?
What was what now?
Racial makeup. Was it a diverse crowd of officers around you? Or
At the moment, no. It was just, you know, they were all the officers that was around me. They all of them, they all was white. Yeah.
How many total officers?
At the time of the stop, before everything transpired, was 3. It was just 3, and then after that was a lot. Yeah.
With this lawsuit, what is best case scenario that comes out of this for both of you?
Well, certainly, whenever we file a lawsuit, we are looking to make our client whole to the extent that can happen. We are looking to effect change. Here in this situation, we appreciate the memo, right? We appreciate what seems like perhaps a policy change, but there should be additional training, right? There should be additional evaluation, bias training, all of these things that agencies, law enforcement agencies have talked about, given a lot of lip service to, and it just begs the question when we continue to see officer-involved shootings and these traffic stops that go awry. It begs the question about the continued bias that exists. We all have bias, right? But in these particular situations, what level of training has been provided to the officers in order to minimize some of that? Like you said, it's not the citizen's responsibility to prove that I can lawfully carry this gun. That's well established. So why is it that these officers, that this officer in particular, felt that it was appropriate for her to remove the firearm and in such a forcible way that it ultimately caused Mr. Arrington to be shot, causing him further damage? That's really the issue, right? So yes, attorneys file lawsuits. We, of course, seek money damages, but it's also about accountability, transparency, policy changes, because the next person that gets pulled over should not experience what Mr. Arrington experienced. And anybody that carries a gun, anybody that has a firearm in their car would be susceptible to this happening based on what happened to Mr. Arrington. Mr. Arrington, you want to? Anything else you want to
Anything
say?
really been add you want to add?
Yeah.
I just hope they do a lot better. You know, we don't run into this again. You know, I just kind of messed me up a little bit though. Just I look at them a lot different. Like I never had a problem with JSO. You know, it just kind of. But if that situation was just like a, you know, in my mind now, if they was to ever stop me again, I would literally just take my gun off of me before they get to me and just put it to the side. You know, because I don't want that to happen.
Has this established a fear that wasn't there before?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely, especially when it comes to that. You know, it's like a. I'm not gonna even lie to you. I changed my whole firearm. I made sure I have one with the actual safety on it. You know, because of that. You know what I mean? I mean, they carry the same gun I carry though, so I would think that they would know how to use it. I mean.
Yeah, what advice, do you have any advice for other gun owners facing a similar situation going, you know, if they're pulled, if any other gun owner is pulled over and they have a gun on them, what would you say to them?
Right about now, just if you can get it off before they get to you, just take it off. If you just say, put on the seat, put your hand on the steering wheel or in the air, let them know that it's there versus them going for it, because that situation could have turned out way worse. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought about when the gun went off, there was other officer that was there. They could have drew at me thinking that it was me shooting, because like I say, the other officer was on the other side of the truck coming around when it happened. So it could have went wrong really quick, really fast. You know what I'm saying? I mean, any wrong move, you know, because like I said, even when I was shot, I still kept my hand on the truck. You know what I mean? So it was pretty wicked out there.
Yeah, after the gun went off, did they pull their guns on you?
No, but it was hesitant. It was looking like he got shot. Like, you know, that's what feared me the most, because I was just like, that's why I never let the top of the truck go. I just stayed there because I'm like, nah. Then luckily someone that was at the light already that drove up, she was recording it. So I don't know who it was, but she recorded from the time they got me out, because I looked back at her and she was recording. Then when the gun went off, you hear her yelling, you know, you guys shot the man. It just went down from there. And it just, I don't know. I guess, like I say, when the gun went off, I didn't realize I was hit at the moment. You know, the officer said, yeah, you've been shot. And that's when I'm like, and it's just blood going everywhere. So, yeah.
Based on this, would you recommend to someone else to disclose to police that they have a firearm?
Yeah, I would tell him. I mean, I would still tell him. I mean, because, like I said, if he would have not asked me, no, I wouldn't have said anything, because I didn't commit a crime. It was a traffic stop, you know, initially. You know, but when he asked me, I said it quickly. Oh, yeah, I'm not finna lie to you, because if I'd have told him a lie, and he still would have took me out the car and fine, and now that's just like I'm hiding something that could have got worse from there. So, yeah, I didn't, you know, I tell them every time they stop me, yes, I have one. If you ask me, yes, I'm going to tell you.
And we appreciate the woman who was recording at the traffic stop, and we would like for her to come forward and reach out to my office so that we can obtain the footage and speak to her about what it is that she saw. We're not sure if JSO interviewed her or not, so considering that we don't have any documents or information regarding their investigation at this point. You guys have any other questions? Hang on, let me check my notes real quick, make sure it wasn't something I intended to say. No, that's it.